Mm-hmm. It says I'm live. Let's see what happens when I check it out. Oh. Oh my god, are we actually live? Mm-hmm. I'm not sure though. Oh, whatever. Um, I'm hoping this is live. God damn it. It looks like it's live. Remove that. Do that. Wow, this is really messy. Um, let's see here. Yeah, we are actually live. Huh. Okay. Well, let's begin then, and hope this works. Let me just shut down some stuff I don't need. Let's do. Let's do this. Okay. So, hello and welcome back to Please Don't Livestream. I suppose this is the special edition of Please Don't Livestream. Um, this is just like a spur of the moment thing. I didn't really have anything better to do, and I wanted to try out to use my whatever it's called, OBS Studio, the live the streaming thing, the encoder, which I haven't used before. I've only used the Google Hangouts for my live streams, as you know. Um, and I thought I don't really have anything to talk about right now that I don't want to talk about in a proper stream or video, which will be coming on Sunday. I think we're doing a movie news episode. So as a test and just to see everything works out, I'm sure this is very laggy. But don't worry, I won't be doing too much movements or stuff. So and I'm still figuring this out. So if it looks a little muddled or laggy, just it's gonna stay that way for now. I am not tech savvy enough to fix that at the moment. Plus, I don't think I have the hardware for it. I'm gonna be totally honest. But anyway, what are we gonna be talking about on this stream? Well, first of all, I don't know if you can. Well, you can't see too much. I don't want to. You can't really see too much. But I've actually expanded the studio now, so it has all my movie shelves up here. You can see all my movies there. Um, and I've really I'm almost almost like built like a little door even. Let me do this. See if you can see that. Yeah, I actually took my shower curtain and put it up there as a divider because this isn't actually a room. It's just part of my what do we call entrance to my house. Because right beyond there is my front door. So what I have here is just well, there's me. But I have put up all my shelves with movies here and sort of divided because behind there is just more empty space and a bathroom. So I sort of created an extra room in my apartment, and I wanted to that's going to be where I record my videos. I have been for a while, but now it actually looks proper. So this is just this is just a test to see how yeah, how it works out. And you know, it's fun. It's something it's something I've seen a lot of movie reviewers, or you know, movie buffs, if that's even a cool thing to say anymore, do, and that's to go through my movie collection. Now, some people I've seen, like Chris Stuckman or YourMovieSucks.org, they do my Blu-ray collection video. Well, I don't really have. Um, I think still like most of my movies are DVDs, because I used to collect DVDs. Of course, when I got an HD TV and a PlayStation 3, so I could watch Blu-rays, I of course started buying Blu-rays instead. But I still buy DVDs from time to time, and I'm not gonna like switch out some of my DVDs, because a few of them are, you know, rare. They have a lot of extra features, special features, and quite frankly, the newer Blu-ray releases might look better, but they do not have yet. They do not have the same uh, stuff in them. So what I'm doing is not a Blu-ray collection or a DVD collection video. I'm just doing a movie collection. So I'm just going to go through shelf by shelf. They are organized alphabetically, starting with numbers. I have a few numbered movies. And from what I can tell, most of them are in order. I might have fucked up somewhere. I'm not sure. They've been standing like this for like a couple of years now. Well, I've lived here for 3, and I've organized and reorganized them a couple times. So yeah, probably like a year and a half they've been this way. So there might be some irregularities, but that's not really the point. I just want to go through them all. And you know, show you a little bit of my not a little bit. I want to show you my movie collection. Um, as a way to, you know, share one of my greater passions in life, which is movies and movie collecting, but also to give you a little glimpse of who I am when it comes to movies. Because most of these movies I've bought because I like them. Of course, I have a few for fun. Like I have Scary Movie 3. I own that because it is so bad that it's good, at least in my opinion. So there are a few of those, and I'm gonna go through each movie shortly, because there's a lot to go through here. So I don't want to take up, you know, too many hours. But I will be talking a little bit about every movie. Maybe give it a score. I don't know. I don't know. This is like I said, a spur of the moment thing. So, without further ado, let's just start. I have had the first shelf here. So let's start with my first movie, which is this. It's 3:10 to Yuma. Modern Western movie. Oh damn! Here, modern Western movie. Yeah, it has Russell Crowe. It has Christian Bale. It's made directed by James Mangold. Westerns are not as popular as they used to be, and that's too bad, because there still are a few good ones out or coming out. More rarely now than before, but I would say that this is one of the better ones of the modern westerns. It is a remake of an old movie. I haven't seen the original, but this is really good. And what initially drew me to it was this person right here. You can't see him because I'm an idiot. There, well, at least that's Ben Foster, one of my all-time favorite actors. You might remember that from my top 10 2016 list, where I mentioned his performance in Hell or High Water as the sole reason why that movie won Movie of the Year for me. But yeah, so that's 3:10 to Yuma. Great Western, like a strong 7 out of 10. After that, we have 10 Cloverfield Lane. Great little mystery. I mean, even if you didn't like the style that Cloverfield was, you're probably gonna like this, because this is completely different. This is not a creature feature or an action movie. This is a very confined, very taut and intense thriller. A thriller, I should say. It's one of my favorite movies from last year. And I don't know. This version, it's like a basic version. I don't know if there are any other versions of this, but it has a few good special features. It has a commentary track which I haven't listened to, but it has the director and producer in it, so there could be some good stuff in there. After that, we got 21 Jump Street. Yes, a movie I initially dismissed as just another TV series becoming a movie cash-in. But when I actually watched it, like a couple of years after it came out, wait, this came out in 2012. Yeah, I watched it in 2013. That's right. I watched it in 2013, and I laughed my ass off throughout the entire movie. So this was a given to buy. It also has a commentary and a bunch of your regular special features for modern comedies. The gag reel, the linorama, a few deleted scenes, and some jokey behind the scenes featurettes. But what's most interesting about this one is the commentary by the directors and cast, because they have some great insights into the production, and they also they have a lot of fun, which makes the movie even more fun. So after that, well, you guessed it, it's 22 Jump Street. I gotta do this. Oh, damn. 22 Jump Street. Same deal here. The special features, this is like a direct copy, which is kind of the point. It is a direct copy of the first one because it's supposed to be a cash cow sequel. So it has the exact same special features, but for the second one. And once again, a great commentary track. And I probably prefer the first one. I'm not sure. I think 21 Jump Street is a better one. But they're very similar, and, they're supposed to be. After that, we have a DVD. Yes, it's 28 Days Later. It says 28 dagar senare. That's the Swedish title. It literally means 28 days later. This is an old DVD. The DVD is actually released in 2003. Yeah. So this actual DVD is 13 years old. It has some pretty good special features. For just a regular, I think this cost like $10 when it came out, which is like 100 Swedish kroners. So it's nothing special, but it has a lot of good stuff on it. So if you're interested in the production of this movie, this very seminal modern zombie classic, I would say, you should check this out. There is a Blu-ray version of this now, which has the same stuff on it, but I just haven't gotten around to upgrade it because I got this. The movie is shot on on an old DV camera, so it's not really gonna pop on Blu-ray. So I probably won't be upgrading this one to Blu-ray. But anyway, after that we have another monster movie. It's 30 Days of Night. This looks very cool because it's got this inlay, and then there's the movie, but there's really nothing special about it. I bought it for like $5. It has a few bonus features, nothing special, and the movie in itself it's good. It's more style over substance, but it is a pretty fun action horror movie, if you will. But if you're looking for brilliance, this is not the right movie for you. Great performance by Danny Huston, though, or Danny Houston. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. As the lead vampire, he really hams it up and has a lot of fun with the part. Oh, and also Ben Foster is in this, so it's a given for me. Any movie I own with Ben Foster, I basically bought because Ben Foster is in it. So after that, we have another DVD. It's The 40-Year-Old Virgin. It was the first time I found out about Judd Apatow. I had seen Freaks and Geeks before, because it actually aired on Swedish TV back when it was new. But I was barely a teenager back then, so I didn't really know who Judd Apatow were, or what a showrunner or producer was. So it wasn't until this movie that I found out who Judd Apatow is. And even though his style has soured over the years, and his movies aren't as exciting anymore, this one and Knocked Up, which I also own, we'll be getting to that later, are a couple of really funny movies that still, they still hold up. And just like 21 Jump Street, you have your gag reels, your line-o-ramas, your commentary track. All of these comedies kind of have the same special features. But just like 21 and 22 Jump Street, you get a pretty good insight and a lot of extra laughs from the special features. And after that, we have 50-50, which is sort of in the same camp as the Apatow movies, especially since Seth Rogen is there. But this is definitely a more serious movie. I mean, it's about cancer. It's as serious as cancer. Great performance by Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Seth Rogen. Overall, a pretty good movie. Not a perfect movie or anything, but very emotional, kind of gripping, and I mean, if you like comedies that sometimes become more serious and actually deals with some serious issues, this is probably a good fit for you. And then we have the 51st State. I haven't watched this in years. I remember as pretty good. I mean, it's basically a Tarantino knockoff, especially since Mr. Jackson is in it. But the one thing that I find interesting about this one is that I watched it back in. It came out in 2001, so I probably saw it in like 2002 or something. The thing is, this movie is directed by Ronnie Yu, I think his name is. Yeah, Ronnie Yu. And back when this came out, when I was like 11 or 12, I absolutely loved it because I hadn't seen too much Tarantino stuff at that time. So that style was still, it was kind of cool to see that kind of fast-paced, witty kind of action thriller comedy stuff. Shortly after, though, I did discover Tarantino. I was like, oh, so that's how it's supposed to be. But this movie introduced me to Ronnie Yu, which later introduced me to another Ronnie Yu movie, which we're going to talk about later. But anyway, yeah, if you like Tarantino, you might enjoy this, but don't expect a masterpiece. Then we have 127 Hours, the movie about a guy stuck under a rock. Even though it's mostly this color, brown, and it's really only like one setting for the entire movie, it's one of the most beautiful movies ever made. The colors, the camera work, especially in the beginning before he gets stuck, coupled with the music, and of course James Franco's performance, makes this a very, very, very good movie, at least in my opinion. And it's probably one of my favorite. Oh God, what's his name? Sorry, Danny Boyle. It's one of my favorite Danny Boyle movies. I gotta do this a little bit faster. I'm gonna go a little faster, not talk as much because this is dragging on. After we have 300, one of my probably top 10 movies of all time. Yes, I legitimately love 300. It is one of my favorite movies of all time. It will always be. My jaw literally dropped when the credits rolled the first time I watched this in cinemas back in 2006, right? Yeah, 2006. It's amazing. Zack Snyder has really, lost the touch, if you will, after. But this one, Watchmen, I really like, and of course, his Dawn of the Dead. It's just, Zack Snyder was at the top of his game with this one. And after that, we have the kind of lackluster sequel, 300 Rise of an Empire. See there, it's even in 3D. Yes, I do own 3D Blu-rays. I'm kind of a sucker for 3D. Not as much now as before, though. But yeah, this is basically the same. Not as well directed, not as well shot, but it has an interesting story. Just a little more nuanced, there's a little more going on. But basically, watch this instead. It's better. And then we have 1408. Probably the best, third best Stephen King adaptation after Shining and The Mist. Great little horror movie that doesn't only rely on jump scares. It actually, relies on actual horror, mystery, suspense, terror, this creeping feeling of dread, and it all takes place, basically all of it takes place in one hotel room. Really good movie. And then we have 2001: A Space Odyssey. I picked up this collector's edition at a convention a few years ago, and it's yeah. I mean, it's 2001. Oh, this should be like that. And here we have the back. The back, because the back, you don't ruin the actual back. You have the music here, and you have the actual movie there. Now, fun thing about this though, when I bought it, the movie wasn't in it. I didn't check this before I actually bought it, so it only had this, the soundtrack disc, plus another soundtrack disc here. I don't actually think it's behind here still. No, that's the second. Yeah, exactly. Because these two, I gotta tell you, these two are actually from another edition of 2001 that I already owned. Great edition, lots of special features. However, I wanted this cool box because you also got a cell from the actual film roll they used. Problem was though that yes, they gypped me and only gave me 2 discs of the soundtrack, so I had to kind of do a little Frankenstein work and put my old DVDs into this to actually have a complete set. So even if this was worth any money, I cannot sell it. I don't want to sell it, but because it's not actually complete. But anyway, and then we have 2012. Yes. I know Roland Emmerich is like universally hated because he is a terrible filmmaker. I, however, love disaster movies, which means that I pretty much love every Roland Emmerich movie ever made. And 2012 is the mother of disaster movies. The world literally ends in this movie. I mean, it's split in half. It is an insane movie, and even if you don't appreciate this kind of disaster movies, you will appreciate it as a so bad it's good movie, because it's breathtaking. The Yellowstone National Park gets turned into one super duper mega volcano, and it just explodes in the most spectacular fashion. This movie, it's amazing. It's amazing. And then we have A Beautiful Mind. Now, this also has a very interesting story, which I'm going to have to get into. Last winter, well, I guess late fall 2016, I actually bought an entire film collection from one of my friends. It wasn't as big as mine. It was only like 80, 90 movies. And I think like 50 of them I already owned. But there were a few of them that I didn't own and that I hadn't even watched. This was one of those. I hadn't seen it before. I've seen some scenes from it. I haven't seen the entire thing though. So I thought I would keep this because people say it's good. I mean, it won 4 Oscars. That must mean something, right? And I've heard it's going to be good, but I haven't watched it yet. So yeah, it's going to be a few of these actually that I haven't watched. But I'll get to that. I'll mention that. And then we have the Ace Ventura collection. It's the first one, the second one, and like 2 or 3 episodes of the animated series. Yeah, which some of my friends like say that, oh, that's my favorite show when I was a kid, and I never saw this. I guess I didn't have that kids channel. But yeah, this is definitely Jim Carrey, at his peak. And especially this one, When Nature Calls. The second one is one of my childhood favorites. I actually had that recorded on a VHS, which my dad recorded, was showing on TV. He recorded for me, and I've probably seen that movie 100 times. I haven't seen it in a while though. I don't think I'm going to appreciate it as much anymore. But back then, oof, I watched it. I watched it every day when I came home from school. Every day. I popped that in, made a sandwich or cooked some pasta or something. I just sat down and watched that movie. Every day. Every day. I gotta move these. Let's put these over here. Yeah, let's do that. Then we have this one. It's A Christmas Carol, the George C. Scott version. Yeah. This is actually Can you hear that? Yeah. This is actually still in its plastic wrapper. I bought this last Christmas or the Christmas before. And I'm kind of a that's a special thing within my movie collection. I actually collect Christmas carols. I have a few different versions, and I'm always looking for new ones. Um, and my goal is to watch one each Christmas. So this one I'm actually planning on watching this Christmas, 2017. That's why I haven't opened it yet. And I only watch Christmas movies at Christmas. Christmas is my favorite holiday. It's kind of sacred to me. So I haven't opened this yet. I haven't seen it, but I mean it's Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, so I'm probably gonna like it. And I've heard a lot of good stuff about this version. Then we have the Adjustment Bureau. Oh, there we go. The Adjustment Bureau. Not the greatest of movies. It will probably be forgotten if it haven't been already. But I mean, it's this really nice little, sci-fi movie with this core love story that really makes it kind of stand out, even though it was never a success or anything. But if you're looking for like a light sci-fi with some good performances from Matt Damon and Emily Blunt, especially Emily Blunt, you're gonna really like this one. I wish more people would see this. It's actually a pretty good movie. Then we have A Fantastic Fear of Everything. Now, this movie is not really that good. It's kind of a mess. It's all over the place. But what makes it worthwhile, what makes it a quirky gem of a film, as it says there, is Simon Pegg's central performance as an author, writing like a murder mystery, and based on a real murder or a real murderer. And because he stays up all night writing about all these murders, he slowly loses his mind and, evolves this fantastic fear of everything. And yeah, it is, like I said, it's not the best movie, but it is definitely worth to watch because of his performance. Then we have A Field in England. This is a Ben Wheatley movie. I actually haven't seen this one, but I bought it. It wasn't that. I actually bought it this month. Because that's also the thing. I kind of collect Ben Wheatley movies. I own. Well, I don't have High Rise and I don't have Free Fire. They're a little too new. I haven't been able to find them yet in any good versions. But I have a Kill List. I have Down Terrace. I have Sightseers. And I thought I should have this too. I haven't actually watched it yet. I started to watch it, but it felt like you had to be in a certain kind of mood to watch this. And if you've seen this, you probably understand what I'm saying about that certain kind of mood. And the mood hasn't struck me yet. And I want to give this movie a fair chance. I'm not going to watch it until the mood strikes me. And then we have A Fistful of Dollars. Talking about Westerns, this is like, I mean, this is the quintessential spaghetti Western. It's the first one in the Dollar trilogy. It's Sergio Leone's masterpiece. What's interesting is that when this came out, it was like the most, well, not when it came out, but when it got discovered, if you will, it was like revered as like, oh my god, it's like one of the best spaghetti westerns ever made, Italian western movie. The funny thing is though that this is just the first part in the trilogy, and the movies kind of just get better and better as they go along. So yeah, this is actually a pretty nice addition. It's a little showy. It has a lot of stuff in it. 2 discs. It has a little booklet, and it has yeah, this stuff, at least to my knowledge, you cannot find on a Blu-ray version of this. So I'm not switching this out for a Blu-ray. And one of the best things here is that it has an audio commentary. Gosh darn it. I can't maneuver. It's on the side. It has a audio commentary by Sir Christopher Frayling. It's like a movie historian. He if you like, if you like movie history, watch any movie you can that has a commentary track by Christopher Frayling. It is simply amazing to listen to. And after that, we have Aguirre, Wrath of God. oh my god, what is it called? Werner Herzog, an early Werner Herzog. I think this is like the first time he worked with Klaus Kinski. They made like 5 or 6 movies together, and this one, like most of their movies, are about obsession. This one is about an obsession for wealth, for material value, um, and you know, it's it's quite a movie, quite a movie. I don't want to talk too much about it. Um, but if you like, I guess, subversive cinema, you should watch this. Um, and if you're a fan of Klaus Kinski or Werner Herzog, you should definitely check this out. And then we have, oh damn, this is wet. Oh, there was a wet spot here. Gross. And then we have the only Stanley Kubrick movie not directed by Stanley Kubrick, AI, Artificial Intelligence. Another childhood favorite. I was a big fan of Haley Joel Osment when I was a kid, mainly because of The Sixth Sense. So, you know, this was a definite watch when I was a kid. And I still kind of love it. I haven't seen it in a long time, though, so I should probably give this another look. Because I remember it as really good, but I'm not sure it is. I've heard differing opinions about it, so yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to check it out again soon. Write something in the chat if you have any insight in whether it's good or not. But I remember it as really good. And now I gotta go get some more movies. Hold on. Gotta put these back. Oh dear. Move. Oh my god. Oh, this is just a disaster waiting to happen. Go. Movies. Come on. Yeah. Here we go. Ooh. Damn it. Ah. Excuse me. So, hold on. There we go. Moving on. Akira. Now, I am not a big anime fan. I find it very hard to follow along. Animes usually have a very distinct style of storytelling, and it's not really for me. But Akira is one of those movies that kind of breaks the mold, and not only is a good anime, it's actually a really good movie as well. This one is weird. You see, it's this big fat box, and you think, oh my god, there's gonna be so much stuff in it. Actually, no. All it is the movie, and there's a few trailers, and you get 2 versions of it in 2 cases. I'm not sure why. One of them, let's see. This one is the widescreen version, and this one is the letterbox version. I don't know why they did it like this, but yeah. No, this is the full screen 4:3. This is the 16:9. Sorry. I don't know why they did that. And other than that, yeah, you have like previews of other movies and a original feature, which I think is only like a 10-minute thing about the animation. But nevertheless, a really good anime and a really good movie, really good sci-fi. And after that, we have the Alien Anthology box. This is the 4 first Alien movies, on like 8 or 9 discs. No, it's only 6 discs. Wait, what? Oh yeah, this is actually the Alien. Yeah, the DVD version was also called Alien Anthology, but that was on 9 discs because you had 2 discs for each movie, and then you had an extra disc with special features on it. And then they transferred it to Blu-ray, beautifully transferred to Blu-ray, and then they could fit it on just 6 discs. I would say this is the definitive version of the Alien collection, if you will. I know there are versions that contain the Alien vs. Predator movies and also Prometheus. I think it's called from Prometheus to what's it called? Evolution, Resurrection, the 4th one. But if you enjoy the actual Alien movies, this is the one to go for. It is a very extensive look at the production of all 4 movies, and you don't have to watch the Alien vs Predator movies and the Prometheus prequel, because it's bad. And speaking of Alien vs Predator, bablam! Yes, I do own the first Alien vs Predator. Really cool. Look at it. It's all shiny. You got the alien here. And on this side, you got the Predator. Oh, if only you could like fold it out and show both of them, but you can't. It's the 2-disc Extreme Edition. Now, the reason I own this, another one of my quirks when it comes to my collection, I absolutely love Paul W.S. Anderson's movies. You probably know this if you've seen my my Resident Evil series on my channel. I actually review all 6 of the Resident Evil movies and explain why I love the movies. In short, in a short, like this, I can't explain it. I love basically every movie he's ever made. I even love this one. It's just something. I have this perverse affection for Paul W.S. Anderson and his movies. So that's why I own this one. The second one, though, no. I can't defend that one. Moving on. More quality movies here. Alone in the Dark. This is the one and only Uwe Boll movie that I own, and I will never buy another one. I've watched this once. I haven't touched it since then, except for when reorganizing my shelves. This is a terrible movie. It's not even enjoyable to watch as, a so bad it's good movie. It is just terrible. I bought it because I heard like, oh, Uwe Boll, he makes such hilarious movies. They're so bad, but they're so funny. No, this is just miserable. Just miserable. Ugh. Ugh. And then we have a kind of budget Al Pacino box. It's called the Al Pacino Collection. It has Scarface, Carlito's Way, Sea of Love, and Scent of a Woman. 4 really good Pacino films. And this one is actually kind of special to me. There's nothing really special about the actual box. It's not even the 2-disc version of Scarface, which is the most common one you can find. But my dad actually bought this for me as a birthday gift. It was like way back in like 2004 or something. Back then, I was not as big of a movie buff as I am now, but I still had a burning passion for movies, which my parents, it wasn't like you can't like movies, not like that, but they didn't really understand why I loved movies so much. But for some reason, my dad actually saw this and thought, hey, my son is gonna appreciate this box. I'm gonna buy this for him, and he did. And that's why it really holds a special place in my heart. And because of this box, I actually got to watch Carlito's Way and Sea of Love for the first time. 2 really good movies, especially Carlito's Way. Probably one of my favorite Al Pacino movies of all time. So, yeah. I'm really... This holds a lot of emotional value, if you will. After that, we have Alpha Dog. It's an okay gangster movie with this kids twist. Like, it's all about these kids who think they're gangsters, but they're really just spoiled brats. And when reality creeps up on them, and they realize like, oh, we actually gotta act as adults now, it kind of breaks apart. Why I bought this was, of course, because Ben Foster is in it. He's not. Oh well, there he is. Yeah, there he is. Amazing scenery chewing performance by Ben Foster, and of course a great performance by the late Anton Yelchin when he was very young. It's a pretty good movie. It actually is. And then we have A Matter of Life and Death. I bought this because, let's see here, Martin Scorsese actually called it romantic, bold, and beautiful. And, I appreciate, I adore Martin Scorsese, and if he says the movie is good, it's probably going to be good. Problem is, though, this is a pretty old movie, and it's, to tell you honestly, it's kind of boring. I haven't actually been able to watch the entire thing It's an hour and 40, and I like get an hour in, and then I start texting or falling asleep or stuff. But, yeah, I don't know what to say. It's not for me, but it's supposed to be good. I want to watch the entire thing and actually give it a fair shot, but so far I haven't been able to. So yeah, that's a matter of life and death for you. Then we have Amadeus. Now this is a movie I actually like. Um, Bought this back in like 2000, 2001. This DVD is from. Once again, 2-disc special edition. That's basically why I bought it. I'd heard that this is like a classic. I saw this director's cut, and I saw a 2-disc special edition. I was like, hell yeah, that's from my collection. And it turns out the movie was actually really, really, really good. It's probably one of my favorite biopics of all time. Um, and it was not the first Milos Forman movie I saw. That was actually One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So I guess that was kind of a draw as well. That oh my, it's from the guy that made One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. If you like biopics, if you like costume dramas, whatever you call it, like period pieces, this is really gonna tickle your fancy. Great movie. The movie American Beauty. I actually talked with a colleague about this today. Um, he had recently seen it on TV, and he wanted to talk about it because he really liked it, and I understand why. It's an amazing movie. It's kind of low key slice of life, but it's just the performances, the direction, the photography. It's such a beautiful movie. Um, I haven't actually seen it in a long time though, so I don't want to speak too highly about it because I might be, just saying stuff, that you can read from the back here, like, a masterpiece, an experience. It will enrich your life. I don't want to just read off the box, but it is a really good movie. It's one of those movies. If you like movies, you should watch this. Then we have American Gangster. If you like movies, you should not watch this. This is terrible. I don't even want to talk about it. This is once again from my friend's movie collection that I bought from him. It's terrible. It's terrible acting, terrible direction, terrible editing. Everything is terrible about this. This movie. This is one of like maybe 5 movies that actually made me angry and made me physical. It is some of the worst trash I've ever seen. I don't want to talk about it. And move on to another American movie, American History X. Now, this is a really good movie. It's a movie that, when it came out, was very popular. It was very of its time. I felt it's become kind of forgotten, though. But yeah, with our current political climate, maybe it's time for a resurgence. Because, you see there? Swastikas, racists, and Nazis. Yeah, this is really a movie for the times. Maybe it's gonna have a resurgence. Who knows? Who knows? However, it's a really, really well made movie. Um, Great performances by Edward Furlong and Edward Norton. Tony Kaye, who directed this, I'm pretty sure he only made like 1 or 2 movies after this. Because he's actually like a music video and commercial director. But I wish he would make more movies because this is an amazing movie. And then we have American Sniper. A kind of, how should we put it? A movie mistakenly called like pro-war, but if you actually watch the movie instead of just reading, it's about the America's deadliest sniper, and it's this this like celebration of violence and celebration of the military, you're kind of missing the point with this movie. It is a really, really sad movie. It's towards the end it becomes almost like it deals with post-traumatic stress, which this American Sniper guy does. What's his name? Kyle, Chris Kyle, played by Bradley Cooper, experiences a lot of PTSD after 4 tours in the Iraq War, Afghanistan. I'm sorry, I don't know my Middle Eastern countries. And this is despite what some people said, not a pro-war movie. It's definitely an anti-war movie. It criticizes the war, but it does celebrate the warriors. So you should definitely watch this. And Bradley Cooper is a revelation in it. Um, uh, it's his best performance, I would say. Then we have Among the Living, French, like extreme horror. It's a pretty bad title. The original title is Les Yeux de Vivant, which means Among the Eyes of the Living, which makes more sense. I mean, Among the Living works, but I would say that the Eyes of the Living is a better title. This is made by the same guys. What's they called? Oh, damn it. Yeah. What are their names? Hold on. I gotta say here somewhere. Oh yeah, Julien Maury and Alexandre Bustillo. The two guys that made the infamous L'Intérieur, or Inside, and a slightly older French horror movie, which was amazing. That's basically why I bought this one. This, however, is not as good as Inside. So, but more on that later. This is kind of a coming of age story wrapped up in a very disgusting horror movie. It's really weird. It kind of works most of the time, but overall, it's middling. And after that, we have An American Werewolf in London. Now this is horror and comedy blended to perfection. It's made in like 81 or 82, and the 81, the effects, especially the transformation effects when he turns into a werewolf, are still amazing, because there are these really well-made physical effects that modern CG cannot beat this. It's amazing. Made by John Landis, who I feel is becoming kind of forgotten, even though he made a lot of good movies. So if you haven't seen this one, definitely watch this. Maybe not watch the sequel, because it's kind of crappy. But you should definitely watch this one. Whew, and let's do these two really quickly. I don't know why. I really wanted this when I was young. I wanted to watch it because I don't know. So I put it on my Christmas wish list like 17 or 18 years ago, and my mom and dad actually bought both of these for me. Now this one is actually kind of funny sometimes. It has its moments. This one is just terrible. It's a sequel. You can probably skip both of these, but if you absolutely want to watch one of them, go for that one. Analyze this. It's much better than Analyze that. And I gotta start moving these. Sorry. Oh, goddamn. And here we come to a modern cult classic, I would say, Anchorman. The first time I watched this back in like 2006, maybe, I did not like it. I did not get it. I have, however, watched it many times since then, and it is probably one of the funnier movies I have ever seen. And it's chock full of laughter. No, but it is a very funny movie, and it's not often that you see like a comedy period piece, but it's this. Comedies are usually just let's just throw in some laughs in a generic story. This is actually like a period piece. There's some effort put into like scenery and clothing and all that, but there's also a lot of effort put into the writing, the comedy, which is rare, and I think that is why people appreciate it more than just a regular comedy. Then we have a documentary about Dario Argento called An Eye for Horror. It's about like his it's about his like early career. It's made in 1982 when he was still like a name to be reckoned with in horror. He has since kind of fallen out of grace because he's old and his movies aren't as good anymore. But if you like old school, like Giallo, or Italian horror, overall, you should definitely check out Dario Argento's earlier movies. And if you want to get an even greater appreciation for his craft, you should check out this documentary because it's pretty good. And then we have Animal Kingdom. This I remember being talked about as like, oh, one of the best movies of the year in like 2009, right? 2009. I didn't watch it back then. I didn't watch it until like 2011, because I'd watched another movie called Hesher, which was directed by the same guy, and I really liked Hesher, so I bought this, and yeah, it deserves every praise it gets. It's kind of a regular gangster movie, but there's this thing. It has that that feeling, that tactile feeling that really makes a movie pop. I don't know how to explain it. It's really good. Skip the TV show. I don't know why you would ever make a TV show out of this. Just watch the movie instead. It's shorter. It's more to the point. Better performances, especially from what's it called? God damn it! I can't believe this. Guy Pearce, and Joel Edgerton, Ben Mendelsohn, Jackie Weaver. Just great performances all around. Amazingly well acted. And then we have another documentary. It's called Anvil, The Story of Anvil. This one actually just says The Story of Anvil, but the movie is actually called Anvil! The Story of Anvil. This is a story of one of these, old heavy metal bands that never really, they never really got their comeuppance. They were big for a few years in the 80s, and then they kind of, fell to the wayside and became, like a forgotten gem. So this is about the recording of their 13th album, like, and how they are still trying to, to grab that dream of, being successful after 13 albums in like 25 years or something. And it's actually directed by one of their old roadies called Sasha Gervasi, and he really captures the spirit of these two, especially. That's the lead singer and guitarist, and that's a drummer. It's a really touching movie about friendship and hope and dreams, and accompanied by some really kick-ass heavy metal and speed metal. And after that, we have a Swedish movie. So I don't think you've heard about it. It's called The Ape. Really suggestive, very uncomfortable. Like one of the most well-made Swedish movies I've ever seen. If you've seen Son of Saul, it has that same kind of camera work, where the camera is constantly, right up in the neck of Olle Sari. It's his name, this actor. What the hell's that? Oh, water. Damn it! My tail is wet. And I don't know if this has subtitles. Yeah, it actually has English subtitles. So there are English subtitles versions out there. And if you like movies, if you like uncomfortable movies, not like cringy, but uncomfortable like Enemy, you are really going to love this movie. It is a tour de force. Oh man, I gotta go faster. We're still on A. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna talk less about the movies and actually just go through them because there's a lot left. But I'm not stopping. Oh my god, I'm gonna drop this. Oh. Yeah. Here we go. Ooh, Jesus Christ. I got it. Huh. Okay. Here we go. Quickly, let's just start with this one. Yeah. Apocalypse Now. You all know about it. One of the best war movies ever made. pretty amazing Blu-ray edition. Lots of stuff on it. 3 discs. You have a booklet about the production. You have the what's it called? The Heart of Darkness documentary, the feature length, actually like cinematic released documentary about the direction, or the the production. It has like these. Well, it has another book, which is like a companion piece to Heart of Darkness, and you have these production stills. There's just a lot of stuff in here. So if you like this movie, this is definitely the version to go for. There was a DVD edition called the Declassified version, which was like, up until this version, that was the best one you could buy. But this is like double the stuff. It has both versions, of course, the Redux and the original. I prefer the original, actually. It's a whopper of a movie. This gotta go faster. Arachnophobia. Another childhood favorite. I actually watched this late last year, and it still gives me the creeps. This movie made me terrified of spiders. Very apt, because of the name. Jeff Daniels, John Goodman, a really good like horror comedy. And we have Argo, one of the most tense movies of 2011, maybe of all time, I'd say. I actually really, really love it. And I had the like regular edition, just this one, but then I found this, and like I said, I'm a sucker for collector's editions, so it's mostly just a gimmick. You have like some production stills. It's supposed to look like a declassified folder or something, but there's a lot of info about the movie in this, and a poster for the actual Argo movie. Yeah, I don't know, some people seem to not like this, but I mean, I think it's one of the better like thrillers in modern times, I would say. And it really shows that Ben Affleck is definitely a better director than actor. And then we have Armageddon. Yes, the only reason I own this is once again because of Ben Affleck. Because on the commentary track, he completely destroys this movie. He apparently hated this movie, both during the production and after, when he was watching it, and he rips this movie apart. The commentary track is actually like split up between Ben Affleck, Bruce Willis, and Michael Bay. They're not in the same room. They're like at 3 separate occasions have been recorded while watching the movie, like interviews almost, and then just been spliced together to this kind of crappy commentary track. However, the Ben Affleck parts are amazing. There's actually like compilations on YouTube that you could check out. Just search for Armageddon Ben Affleck commentary, and you'll get the best bits. I bought it because I really wanted to own it on an actual DVD, though. The movie's terrible. The movie is absolute trash, but the commentary tracks makes it worthwhile. Armored. Not sure why I own this. It's directed by Nimrod Antal, a guy that has serious pacing problems when it comes to his movies. But I don't know. The premise is good. It has some good actors in it. Personally, I'm a fan of Skeet. You can see there, Skeet Ulrich. Why? Well, I like the first Scream. I guess that's why. This movie's kind of crap, though. I don't know why I own it. I had like a Nimrod Antal period for like a few weeks in 2010, and I think that's why I bought this. Then we have another Christmas movie, Arthur. What's the actual title of this? Oh, it's just Arthur Christmas. I heard a lot of good about this. I didn't like it. I thought it was derivative. It was boring. The only good part about it is James McAvoy's performance as Arthur Christmas. But other than that, you can skip this one, I'd say. Now we have another like budget box, Asian Masterpieces. Which, these 4 movies are good, but they're not like the Asian Masterpieces. There are a lot better Asian movies. But you have a few good here. You have Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. You have Hero. You have House of Flying Daggers and Seven Swords. This was when these movies, they were all the rage back in like the early aughts. Especially around the release of Hero. And yeah, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is a bona fide classic, I would say at this point. It's a really good movie. It kind of introduced the Western world, or the Western mainstream, I would say, to like Asian movies, and that's why we got movies like Hero and House of Flying Daggers and Seven Swords later. However, House of Flying Daggers and Seven Swords are kind of so and so. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, like I said, classic. And Hero is actually my favorite of these four. Once again, they come in a pretty nice box. There's nothing super special about it. For some reason, House of Flying Daggers is the only one that has 2 discs. But I haven't actually checked out the special features because, yeah, the movie is kind of like... The movie's kind of so-and-so. I honestly prefer Seven Swords over House of Flying Daggers. It's more fun. But the best one of these is actually Hero. If you've seen Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon and you like that, but you haven't checked out Hero because you're like, oh well, I don't know, definitely check out Hero. It's an amazing movie, amazing. Then we have Assassins. Once again, I'm not sure why I own this. Yeah, I do. I've had a couple of periods in my life where I only bought Sylvester Stallone movies and Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, and this is one of those. I just wanted to buy. I wanted to own every Sylvester Stallone movie there is, and well, this is one of them, so I bought it. It's pretty good. It's directed by Richard Donner. It's written by the Wachowski brothers, not the Wachowski sisters. The Wachowski sisters wrote Sense8. However, the Wachowski brothers wrote this. I'm not gonna. There's not gonna be much more political talk than that in this one. But yeah, this is, when you think of the Wachowskis, you think of action and sci-fi. This is actually like a small little like hitman, well, assassin thriller. 2 rivaling assassins going after the same target. It's kind of exciting, even if it's kind of hammy at times. And Tony Banderas chews the scenery to the extreme. Amazing. And then we have Attack the Block, another like half unknown British sci-fi, which is it's really 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 well made. And if you like sci-fi, you should definitely check this out. It's one of the better sci-fi movies of late. It's from 2011. Yeah, 2011, and it's really really good. It's kind of like Shaun of the Dead because it's about an alien invasion, but in the suburbs of of London. So yeah, there's a bunch of inner city kids, as they're called, and their local drug dealer that tries to fight off an alien invasion. It's a very well made, very exciting, very funny movie, and great performances by. This was actually the movie where I discovered John Boyega. The guy that plays Finn in Star Wars, and he definitely does a better job in this one, I think. Acting, and this is a better movie than Star Wars. If you like John Boyega, if you like The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi or whatever, definitely check this out because this is where he cut his teeth in sci-fi. Ooh, and then we have Attack on Precinct 13, John Carpenter classic. I love Carpenter, but as a director, as a person, however, his movies, and especially this one, are really poorly paced. This is like one of the slowest movies ever made. And even if it's very exciting at points, had great music, it's really tense, it's really terrifying at points. It's like a super slow movie. It is definitely not a movie that the general audience would enjoy. And then we have The A-Team. For a while, this was my favorite movie of all time. I still really enjoy it. I think it's one of the better action movies of the 2000s. The only thing that holds it back is the PG-13 rating. It performed pretty poorly at the box office, unfortunately, because I thought this could have been a great franchise, for them to expand on. But, at least we have this one. At least we have that. I mean, it's Liam Neeson, It's Bradley Cooper. It's Rampage Jackson for some reason, and then oh my god, what's his name? Sharlto Copley. Sorry, Sharlto Copley. All having a lot of fun, uh, and it just really shows in this movie. If you like action movies, you're gonna love this. Ooh, and then we have the what's it called in it? Oh, the assassination of Richard Nixon. Um, it's from 2005, 2004 even. I was 14 years when I watched it the first time, and I probably haven't watched it since then. So I shouldn't really speak too much about it. I really liked it back then, but I don't think I fully grasped it at that time. This is probably one of those I should watch again. But I do remember that Sean Penn is pretty amazing in this movie. So if anything, watch it for his performance. And then we have A Serious Man. It feels like one of the forgotten Coen movies, even though it's pretty new still. 2009, right? Yeah, 2009. It's probably one of my favorite movies of theirs. It definitely feels like a Coen movie, even though it's not as hilarious as The Big Lebowski or as tense as No Country for Old Men, or Fargo. But it's a bit middling because it's not it's not a comedy, it's not a thriller, it's not a crime movie. It's just a very bleak slice of life about a math teacher, a Jewish math teacher back in the 70s or 60s. Yeah, 1967 it takes place. Great period piece, great central performance by Michael Stuhlbarg, and some really great performances by oh my god, what's his name? Alan Coulter. Alan Coulter plays his brother. Amazing performances. Then I have Appaloosa, another modern western, not as good as 3:10 to Yuma. However, I was personally suggested by Lance Henriksen to buy this movie. He kind of promoted himself because he has a small part in this movie, and I met him at a convention where I got him to sign my. Oh, hold on, one second. Hold on, I gotta check the stream. I think something happened. No, it's going on. Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. Yeah, back to the movie. Yeah, so he signed this, because quick side story here. When the few times I go to these sci-fi or fantasy conventions, I don't really do that anymore. It's not my thing. But when I do, it's because there's an actor there that I really want to talk to or meet, and I usually try to bring, a movie for them to sign that they might not, get to, talk too much about, because 90% of the people that walked up to Lance Henriksen and wanted something signed by him, they had Aliens, they had the Millennium TV show. A few maybe had the Terminator, and they get the same response, like, "Oh, thank you, yeah, it's a really good movie, blah blah blah, move along." However, I walked up with this, and even though there was a line, he talked about making this movie for 10 minutes with me, really passionately. He talked about how much he loved making this movie, and I really loved watching it, but I was kind of starstruck. I couldn't. I was like, yeah. Oh, you. He talked about them riding on horseback for 4 days between the different sets and the different locations. Them actually traveling like they were in the old Wild West, and he seemed to really enjoy talking about something else than Aliens or Terminator. And that's the kind of the reaction I want to get when I talk to these people, because you get to have an actual conversation instead of just shaking their hand and that's it. And he also talked about, oh, I'm actually in another western now called Appaloosa, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna check that out. So I bought this, and it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Oh, Deadman shouldn't be there, but Deadman is great, and yeah, at least this Blu-ray has a good story behind it. It was personally recommended by Lance Henriksen, so yeah, because of that, I just had to buy it. And then we have, oh yes, Avatar. Whew, the extended collector's 6-disc edition. I was back in the day. I was kind of a sucker for Avatar, and I bought this because it was just one of those things I had to own. It was like, oh, the greatest movie ever made. Oh my god, there's more. There's the actual movie, but I mean, it's really pretty. Look at it, really pretty. Problem is though, the first time I watched it, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. First time I watched it was in the cinema, and I cried. I bawled my eyes out. I actually, not because of any emotional stuff in the movie, it's actually because of how beautiful it is. And I still think it is a very, very, very beautiful movie. However, on repeat repeat viewings, it does become worse and worse, and I can see why people dismiss it now. It feels a bit derivative the more you watch it. But for its visual flair, I still wanted to own it on Blu-ray, and it has the 3D version in here. So yeah, say what you will, I'm not mad I bought this. I'm actually, yeah, I enjoy watching it for its visuals. And I gotta move this again. God damn it. Then we have, oops, sorry, teaser. Oh, The Aviator. Probably the best movie, the best collaboration between Scorsese and DiCaprio. Amazing performances by him, and oh my god, Cate Blanchett, great performances. Another, like one of my favorite performances is by Brent Spiner. He's in one scene, but I mean it's Data. It's Data, so you gotta love it, right? But overall, really, really, really well-made movie, both on a technical and dramatical aspect. One of my favorite Scorsese movies, and definitely my favorite Scorsese and DiCaprio collaboration. And then we have A Walk Among the Tombstones. I bought this because I thought it was going to be like a cool Liam Neeson action movie. He plays an alcoholic cop that has to capture these two demonic murderers. And the way they sold this was like, it was going to be like sort of supernatural, that these murders weren't just, regular people. They were actually, they were something else. Problem is, when you watch it, they're just two guys in a van kidnapping children and killing them. So, and it's not even an action movie. It's more of a drama thriller. So it didn't even have good action. It was just boring, unfortunately. And then we have The Babadook. I know some people don't like this, but when it first came out, it got a lot of praise, and that's why I wanted to see it. And I really like this. I really, really like this. I really like movies about people slowly going insane. So this movie is definitely made for me. Yeah, I have this position when it comes to movies about hitmen, for some reason, and then movies about people slowly going insane. So I really, really, really like this. Then we have another childhood classic, Babe. If you haven't seen this, why haven't you seen this? If you have seen it and doesn't like it, you are a cold person. You're cold and dead inside. This is one of the most heartwarming movies ever made. And it's produced by George Mad Max Miller, which just adds a whole nother layer of just insanity to this movie. But it's really, 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 really good. And then Back to the Future, the trilogy. Actually, this is the Blu-ray. It's not the latest. It's like the second to latest version. This is the best version, I think, though. The later editions are just the same, but in like budget boxes. This one actually came with a replica of the car, a small replica, about that big, Um, but my first ever DVD that I bought, I talk about this in my Resident Evil series actually, was the 2001 edition of the Back to the Future trilogy that came out in 2001. It's this black big box of DVDs. This is the same stuff, only it's been upgraded to Blu-ray, to HD. And I actually lost one of the discs to my original box, and that's why I bought this. Otherwise, I probably still have my DVDs left. But yeah, Back to the Future, one of very few perfect trilogies. This is a perfect trilogy. And especially Back to the Future 1 is like one of my favorite movies of all time. So, yeah, it's one of those movies also, like, if you haven't seen it, why haven't you seen it? Like, babe. Oh, okay, more movies. Yeah, damn it. Oh my god, I haven't even gone through the first, like, thin shelf over here. It's... Oh well, let's continue. Yeah. What do we have here? Oh, we're getting to B. Yeah, we have passed A. We are now on B. Oh, god damn it. Bad Boys, with an old price tag still on it. Why do I have this? Well, it's one of very, very few good Michael Bay movies, and I thought, yeah, I should own it because of that. And of course, I have Bad Boys 2. However, this movie is terrible. I actually bought them at the same time at a yard sale. I'd only seen the first one at that time, so I thought, oh, I'm going to buy both of them, I'm going to watch them, maybe they're good. Yeah, the first one is still good. The second one is pretty terrible. Bad Milo, a movie about a monster living in a guy's asshole. Literally. That thing lives in that guy's asshole. Yeah, spoilers. But it's all over the packaging. It's all over the description. Even though they try to make it a mystery in the movie, it's just a movie about a monster living in a guy's asshole. What more can you say? I don't know. Bad Santa. Oh, hello. Thank you. Yeah, Bad Santa. Another one of those, not very traditional Christmas movies, but it's definitely one you should check out if you like not tragedies, but kind of sad movies. It is a comedy, but it's definitely one of the sadder comedies I've ever seen, and with a great central performance by Billy Bob Thornton. And then we have Bad Taste. See here, they almost right. Peter Jackson. This is his first, his official first directed movie. And there's the title. His name is almost bigger because this came out on DVD around the same time as the Lord of the Rings movies came out, so they kind of wanted to cash in on that craze back then. I saw this on a VHS just before the Lord of the Rings movies came out, actually. So I've always preferred this over the Lord of the Rings movies. This one and Brain Dead are probably his two best movies. This is like splatter, gore at its best. It is just great. I can't talk. And then we have, I have this on B. It's The Hangover, because in Swedish it's called Baksmällan. That actually means the hangover. The first one, I like the first one. It's funny in how crazy it is. However, the sequels, you see, they're actually called The Hangover. I don't know why they didn't call them Baksmällan here in Sweden. I don't know, but this one is like a darker copy of the first one. Not as funny, not as interesting. But it's like it's a weird anomaly when it comes to movies. And the third one is like it's more of a drama or a thriller. It's almost like a crime movie. It's not even a comedy, barely. And you gotta appreciate it for that. You gotta appreciate what's his name, Todd Phillips, for not like for sticking to his guns and making the kind of movie he wants to make, even if it wasn't as interesting as the first one. Yeah, I don't know. Then we have Baskin. Or Baskin, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. This is actually a Turkish horror movie. I watched this on the Stockholm Film Festival a few years ago, and then I finally you could find this. It's let's just say it really quickly. It's a terrifying movie. It's mentally exhausting to watch this movie, and I would not recommend it to the faint of heart. You could buy this on DVD, but I really wanted it on Blu-ray, and I found this black Blu-ray, really cool. However, I don't know if you can see over here. There it says La Porta dell'Inferno, the portal to hell. So yeah, this is an Italian release of a Turkish movie, which means there's no English subtitles on this. That's why it's still in its plastic wrapper. I've not opened this because I can't watch it. I don't speak Turkish. I speak very little Italian, so even if I've seen the movie and the dialogue isn't really important, I still couldn't enjoy watching this because I wouldn't understand what people are saying. So I'm looking for a version with either Swedish or English subtitles. If you know of any Blu-ray edition with Swedish or English subtitles, please tell me in the comments or in the chat. Please tell me. Oh my god. And then we have Tim Burton's Batman. Probably my second or third favorite Batman movie. I have Batman Returns. My actual favorite Batman movie back when I was a kid. Still enjoyed for its visuals, but it's kind of fallen to the wayside. Then we have Batman Forever. I bought this on my way home from school one day because I wanted to, they actually sold this in a grocery store, and I was standing in line. I'd bought some, I think, like a soda or something. I was on my way home from school, and I thought, hey, I should watch this. It's funny, right? And yeah, this one is actually kind of funny in a stupid way. However, you'll see my next movie is not Batman Robin. It's Batman Begins, because Batman Robin is not even so good. It's bad. It's just terrible. After that, we have Batman Begins. It's Batman Begins with this cool, what's it called, lenticular? You see how it's weird? Oh, now it's bats. Now it's actually Batman. Really cool. I remember I without telling my parents, I went on an hour bus ride to a store when this came out on DVD. I actually knew which date it was going to come out, and I checked where I could buy it for the least amount of money. And I went without telling my parents when I was 15. So, but still, I was living at home. They kind of wanted to know where I went, but I just disappeared for an hour. I didn't even have a cell phone back then. But I was just determined to go buy this. I came back with it. They were kind of angry at me, but at least I had the movie, and I still have it. This one is also a bit of a hybrid, because this is a really nice packaging. It is, however, the DVD. I have bought this on Blu-ray, but I kind of chucked that because the packaging was just a regular. It was just a regular plastic cover. So I actually put my Blu-ray discs in this DVD. I still have the DVDs in there as well. So this one, you can't really hear it, but sometimes the discs comes loose. So I have this on Blu-ray and DVD, but it's all in one package. Then we have the Battle of Shaker Heights. One of the original reasons to why I will defend Shia LaBeouf and his acting prowess. This is an old one, like 2003. Yeah, 2003. So it's a very young Shia LaBeouf. One of the first movies I saw with him. Yeah, if you like if you like Shia LaBeouf, if you, despite all his antics, still like Shia LaBeouf, check this out. It's really good. And then we have the original Hunger Games Battle Royale. This one is also, it's from 2000. I probably bought it in 2002. So here it says, this movie is brilliant. There's nothing else to say. And then this is a weird one. This is Battlestar Galactica, the pilot, and the pilot episode is actually technically a movie. It's made for TV, but the pilot was actually shown as its own movie, and I really like this. It's a bit long at 2 hours and 55 minutes, but it's a really good, like, sci-fi drama almost. Unfortunately, I'm not a fan of the rest of the show. I don't know why. It just not work for me. But this pilot episode, or this initial movie, is really, really good, I think. And then we have, The Beaver. Once again, I don't know why I bought this. I mean, there's a lot of good actors and actresses. Mel Gibson, Jennifer Lawrence, Anton Yelchin, rest in peace. Jodie Foster. It's directed by Jodie Foster as well, I think. Yeah. And I think I bought it based on that. And then it's pretty good. It's nothing special, but it's pretty good. And then we have Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. This is kind of a fun movie. It's not a found footage. It's a mockumentary about a documentary crew that follows a mass murderer around when he prepares to make his mark in this world. I should say serial killer, because this movie takes place in a universe where Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, and Jason Voorhees actually exist. And this guy, Leslie Vernon, he wants to become one of these legendary serial killers. So we get to watch him prep for the night where he's gonna slay the teenagers. You see him set up the legend of Leslie Vernon. You see him prepping all the weapons, prepping like a bunch of booby traps in this abandoned house where the teenagers are gonna face off against him. It's a very interesting concept, and in the end, a really, really entertaining movie. It's produced and directed by Scott Glosserman, and written by him. And I'm not sure what he did after this. There was talk about a sequel, but I don't think they ever made it. Anyway, really fun movie. If you like these kinds of horror movies, slasher movies, you should, and you would like a deconstruction of the generic slasher movie, you should really watch this. It's pretty good. Then we have The Life of Pi. Probably the best use of 3D in a modern movie, and it is just visually stunning. I'm not a super fan of the actual story because of how it ends. I don't want to spoil it. But I think it gets kind of hammy towards the end, kind of hokey, and has this message that I don't really agree with. But the movie overall is just amazing, and it really shows that Ang Lee is one of the most versatile directors of our time. Oh, and did I mention it's fucking beautiful? And then we have Benny and June. This is back from, the movie's from the 90s, right? 93. I got this as a birthday gift in like 2004. It was right around that time that I actually started collecting movies, around like 2003, 2004. And I had recently discovered Johnny Depp. I actually discovered him in Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Before that, I had seen him in Don Juan DeMarco and Edward Scissorhands, but I didn't really recognize that was him. So when I saw Once Upon a Time in Mexico, and I thought Sheldon Jeffrey Sands, the character he plays, is like one of the coolest movie characters of all time. I still enjoy that character he plays. I just went nuts for Johnny Depp, so I bought every Johnny Depp movie I could find, and I put the ones I couldn't find on my Christmas and birthday wish list. This is one of them. It's kind of a quirky, like romantic comedy about Benny and June. No, Benny and June. And it's a long time since I watched this, but it's funny, it's endearing, and it has Johnny Depp when he was still coherent. Then we have Bernie. It's made by Richard Linklater. It, however, did not take 12 years to make. It only took like a regular amount to make. It's kind of a pseudo documentary. It's part documentary, part drama about Bernie, this mortician, this very beloved mortician in a North Texas, little city. I don't want to spoil too much about it. Jack Black does one of his better performances. He's not as animated as he usually is. He's actually kind of reserved, and it's one of these movies where he actually tries. And for that, you just gotta love it. It's an interesting movie to watch. I was supposed to talk less. This is called, this is The Exorcism of Emily Rose. It actually says there. But the Swedish title is Besatt, or Possessed in English. Yeah, based on a true story. It's one of the better like exorcism movies. It kind of started the whole exorcism trend, with like The Devil Inside and The Last Exorcism and Last Exorcism Part 2 and all those movies. However, this one is actually not about the actual exorcism. It's about the aftermath, and it's a very interesting take on the exorcism horror movie. Pretty good. It's probably Scott Derrickson's best movie. He has gone on to make, recently he made a Doctor Strange. So he's moving on up, but this will always be my favorite Scott Derrickson movie. Oh my god. And then we have a Swedish horror movie. It's called The Visitors, or Besökarna in Swedish. It's, for some reason, hated and said to be like one of the worst Swedish movies ever made. I really enjoy it. It's kind of a mix between your classic ghost story and like Ghostbusters-esque comedy. I don't know. I I really like it. Like legit like it. So, but I don't know. I don't want to say. I don't know what to say. Whatever. It's a Swedish movie. I'm pretty sure you can find that with English subtitles. So whatever. And then we have another childhood favorite, Bigfoot and the Hendersons. Hell yeah, it's called Harry and the Hendersons. Yeah, Harry and the Hendersons in American, but here in Sweden we call it Bigfoot and the Hendersons. It's a movie about a family that takes in Bigfoot into their family. Enough said. Great costume and makeup effects by Rick Baker, of course. Yeah, it's a movie about Bigfoot. It's like a family, family movie about Bigfoot. It's great. It's great. More movies. Ugh. Oh boy. Ooh. Oh. Oh. I almost dropped them. Okay. Oh man, I gotta move fast. It's almost 10 o'clock. Oh, and focus. Big Lebowski, cult classic. Because of this is the movie that made me religious. I am a devout Dudeist. I am actually a certified priest of Dudeism. So if you ever want to get married and you're in my neck of the woods, I could officiate the marriage, uh, officially, like legally wed you. Um, but also it's a very very good movie. Big Trouble in Little China, another cult classic. If you haven't seen this, go watch it right now. It's probably one of John Carpenter's best movies. It's weird, it's fun, it's fast paced. One of his few fast paced movies, actually. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Um, Personally, I prefer the sequel, but this is like objectively the better movie. Biodome. Yeah. Birdman. Um, it's Birdman. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's better than The Revenant. Bird with the Crystal Plumage. Remember when I talked about that Dario Argento documentary, An Eye for Horror? Well, they talk about this movie in that. You can see it's actually from the same box. I got this in the same box. This is not a horror movie. It's giallo, which is like a Italian subgenre of like crime movies, where it's like kind of a mix between horror and crime. Very grisly crime. You see the blood. So it's kind of like a crime thriller, but with some really grisly gore. Birth. Whew, super weird movie. Kind of awkward in some scenes where Nicole Kidman gets naked with a like 8-year-old boy. Haven't seen it in a long time. I'm not sure why I bought this. I like bought it on a whim. I like it. The director went on to make Under the Skin, one of my favorite movies of all time. But this one is weird. This one is weird. Black Christmas, probably one of my favorite Christmas-themed horror movies. It's Canadian. I don't know why I mentioned that, but it is. It's a great Christmas movie. Actually, I would recommend this if you're looking for Christmas movies. Ooh, Black Death. You see Sean Bean? Hint, hint. He dies. The movie's called Black Death. Guess how he dies? Oh, Black Hawk Down, the 3-disc special edition. Unlike Prometheus, this is actually a good Ridley Scott movie. Probably one of his best movies, and one of the best, war movies overall. Black Sheep, New Zealand horror comedy. Not funny, not very scary, kind of bland actually. Black Swan. Say what you will about oh my god, Natalie Portman. I think she is brilliant in this movie, and I think she deserved that Oscar. Beautiful movie. Blade. Come on, it's Blade. Blade 2? Come on, it's Blade 2. Blade 3, yeah. It's Blade 3. And then another Blade movie, but Blade Runner. This is the 5-disc version. There are 5 different versions of the movie. There are extensive behind-the-scenes featurettes. There is a booklet. There is, you see this, like, kind of futuristic, like, little foreword. There's a bunch of extra materials. And, to tell you the truth, I do not like Blade Runner. I can appreciate it for its visual flair, but other than that, I think it's a vapid and, frankly, stupid movie. I don't understand why people revere it as much as they do. I agree with the critics back when this was first released, um, because they, generally this was hated, and I agree with that. I do not like this at all. What do we have here? Blades of Glory. Um, it's a movie about figure skaters. It's actually more fun than it looks. John Heder, Will Ferrell, they, their chemistry is good. Haven't seen it in a while. It's kind of like in the same vein as Anchorman, but not as good. But still pretty good. What do we have then? Yes, the Blair Witch Project, the original and the only good one. Book of Shadows was an interesting concept, but terrible movie. And the latest one, Blair Witch, is just a fucking terrible ripoff of this one. So if you haven't seen this one, I'd say it's a modern horror classic. Probably one of the best American horror movies made in the last 20 years. Blue Jasmine. Oh, top 5. This is, one of my top 5 Woody Allen movies of all time. Cate Blanchett gives the performance of a lifetime. If anything, watch it for her performance. It is absolutely amazing what she does in this movie. Absolutely amazing. Oh, what have we here? Blue Jean Cop! Peter Weller and Sam Elliott. I bought this because I saw the trailer on my Cobra DVD. Let's talk about Cobra in a little while. But this movie is pretty bad, actually. It looks like a crazy 80s action movie, but it's pretty dull, unfortunately. So, yeah, it's nothing special. I mainly bought it because, yeah, the trailer made it look fun. So, you see, trailers can be very deceptive sometimes. Oh my god, Blue Valentine. Derek Cianfrance's second best movie? I think no, you know what? Scratch that. This is Derek Cianfrance's best movie. It is just, well, it's a relationship drama between Michelle Williams and Ryan Gosling. It is probably one of the more believable relationships in a movie I've ever seen. Amazing performances by both Michelle Williams and Ryan Gosling. Amazing performances. What do we have then? Oh, where's it? Oh, yeah, my Blue Velvet. This is well, they call it steel box, but I don't actually think this is like aluminum. Blue Velvet. Would you say this is David Lynch's breakthrough movie? I think so. It's a David Lynch movie. It's really weird. You could sense though that he was kind of, toning the crazy down because this was going to be a major release. But still, it's a David Lynch movie. It's gonna screw with your head, and it's gonna be very uncomfortable at times. But it's a really, really good movie. Oh my god, The Boat That Rocked! Another movie from my friend's DVD collection that I haven't watched yet. From what I've heard, I don't think I'm gonna like it. That's why I haven't seen it yet. So, yeah. Let's go. And then Bone Tomahawk, another modern Western movie that is actually pretty good. It sticks to the old Western tropes and structure pretty well, but it mixes in some pretty gruesome horror with these characters down here. I'm not going to spoil too much about it. It's an interesting movie. It's not as good as it could have been, but it's pretty good and pretty gruesome. Come on, we gotta go faster. Gotta go faster. Oh. Oh. Oh my god. Oh, we're fine. We're fine. We're fine. We're good. We're good. Let's see here. Oh my god. Oh. So here we have. Woo! Oh my god, that was a dust bunny. I thought it was a spider. Boondock Saints. I haven't seen this in a long time. But back when I first saw it in the early 2000s, I really liked this one. This movie actually got me kicked off of the Spoonie One's web homepage. You know, the Spoonie experiment. Yeah, whatever. He said that this was one of the worst movies he had ever seen, and when I was like, 14, 15, 16, I was very much more passionate about movies in an adolescent way. So I wrote him a very angry letter, and he banned me from his homepage because of that, or his website. But it was worth it, because the movie's great. Borat. No explanation needed. Very interesting comedy, actually, which says a lot about Americans, more than you would know. Bourne Identity, come on, it's a great movie. Bourne Supremacy is almost better. The Bourne Ultimatum, though, it feels like a kind of a not a cheap copy, but it's not as good as the first two. Then we have The Box, the last in Richard Kelly's Apocalypse trilogy. The first one being Donnie Darko, and the second one being Southland Tales. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. It's the movie, a guy comes over to your house, he says, if you press this button, you'll get $1 million, but a person, someone you don't know, someone in this world will die. And it's about Cameron Diaz and James Marsden thinking about, are we going to do it? We kind of need the money. And it doesn't sound like it, but this is actually a sci-fi movie. And it's kind of an interesting concept. I know it's based on an episode of Twilight Zone, which I haven't seen, though. So maybe if you've seen that episode, you would prefer that. But I've only seen the movie, and I really like it. The Brave, Johnny Depp's directorial debut. Once again, bought this back in like 2003, 2004. It's a very interesting movie. It's an interesting concept, a very sad movie, actually, where Johnny Depp plays this Native American that lives in, that's probably cultural appropriation, but whatever. I don't care. He plays this Native American that lives on like a, what do you call it, scrap heap, together with a bunch of other families. And he signs a contract where he's going to be the victim in a snuff movie in order to, he's going to make like $30,000 off of this. And, he wants to provide for his family, and the only way he can do that is to literally sell his body to a snuff film production. However, the movie's not about the snuff film. It's about him kind of dealing with the last, I think, week of his life, where he gets this money and, tries to keep the truth from his family. Breakfast Club, undying teenage classic. It is as poignant now as it was then. Breaking news. Really interesting action thriller, I would say, from South Korea. Yeah, by Johnny To. He's supposed to be some kind of like action master director. I have actually not seen any more movies of his, but this one's really interesting. It reminds me a lot of Tunnel, another South Korean movie, where you kind of see this disaster. This one is about a bunch of bank robbers that are being sieged in these houses by the cops, and we kind of see it from the media's perspective, and how media shapes our view of the world. Yeah, Bride of the Monster. It's Ed Wood. Probably his only really actually good movie. Bride of the Monster is an actual okay movie. Bride of Reanimator. the lackluster sequel to the really, really good Reanimator. This is like a German, yeah, a German edition. I don't know why I own this. I think I bought this from a friend. Brighton Rock, really interesting, British thriller. I kind of bought this because I remember it got like 5 out of 5 in Empire back in 2011, 2010. And I thought, hey, I should watch that. That sounds like a future classic. Kind of got forgotten, but it's still a very good movie. Brokeback Mountain, one of the best love stories ever told on screen. Every time I watch this, it makes me cry. I kind of get choked up just talking about it. It has one of the most beautiful endings of all time. Bronson, Tom Hardy, kind of owning Hollywood right now. This was like one of his breakthrough performances as the most violent inmate in British history. It's a really, really amazing, what should you call it, like portrait of insanity by Nicholas Winding Refn, or Nicholas Winding Refn, someone here, it's like, as he's, called in Danish, the director, that is. Oh, The Bridge Over the River Kwai. It's actually a pretty crappy DVD, but it's a great movie, so I should really buy this on Blu-ray. It's a classic. It's definitely a classic. So it's one of those movies you kind of have to watch, and if you collect movies, it's kind of ones you have to own. But I should definitely get a better edition of this. Oh my God, Broken Flowers. One of the few Bill Murray performances where I actually enjoy him. Yes, I am not a Bill Murray fan. You can hate me if you want to. I think he is a much better dramatic actor than he is a comedic actor. And it shows in that one. Bullet to the Head. Back in like 2010, when, the stupid 80s action movies had kind of a resurgence with Expendables and the A-Team movie and all that. This one came out and wanted to, cash in on the success of those movies. This one is not as good, though. It's pretty bad, actually. It's pretty boring. And Sylvester Stallone really looks his age in this one. Whatever there. Oh, yeah. Bully. A pretty harrowing documentary about, bullies and the ones they bully. I mean, if you went to public school or public high school, I mean, you pretty much know everything there is to know about bullies. But this really shows that, hey, maybe you weren't the only one that were being bullied, or maybe this was a bigger epidemic than we thought. It's really interesting. Kind of sad at points, actually, but great. And then we have Buried, the movie that proved that Ryan Reynolds is actually a good actor, not just, he's not just Van Wilder, he's actually an accomplished actor. Takes place entirely inside of a coffin. It is masterfully directed and shot. I was going to say it never feels claustrophobic. Well, it actually feels claustrophobic all the time, but in a good way? Anyway, interesting concept. Really great performance by Ryan Reynolds. And yeah. It's a movie about a guy in a box. But it's actually good. It's actually really good. What do we have then? Oh yeah, it says California Man here, but we all know it's called Encino Man. It's the movie about Sean Astin and oh my God, what's his name? My God, Pauly Shore, that digs up a caveman or a Cro-Magnon encapsulated in ice. They thaw him out and they teach him the ways of the early 90s. It's just an amazing movie for all the right reasons. Or should I say, an amazing movie for all the wrong reasons. Oh my God. Then we have The Call of Cthulhu. This is actually a black and white silent picture made in 2005. Yes, 2005. They really wanted to capture the 1940s style of cinema to reflect the era that the movie takes place in. The Call of Cthulhu, the Cthulhu monster, the H.P. Lovecraft Cthulhu universe. Very interesting rendition of that story. A very convincing silent movie. It actually kind of looks like a 1940s, 1930s kind of movie. Whatever then, Calvary. Once again, a very, very, very tense movie about this priest that in the beginning of the movie is promised by someone. He sits in that confession booth, and the guy on the other side, he says, "Oh, what sins do you want to confess?" And he says, "I'm going to kill you in 7 days." So it's basically him trying to find out who this person is and why he wants to kill him. Pretty amazing, actually. Cannibal Ferox. It's a cannibal movie. They were all the rage back in the early 80s, late 70s. This is probably one of the few ones that I actually enjoy. That's why I own it. It's a good splatter movie, but I'm not a fan of the cannibal subgenre of splatter movies. But this one I actually kind of like. What do we have then? Cape Fear. Probably one of Scorsese's weirder movies, but I really enjoy it. You can definitely tell it's a Scorsese movie in the editing and in the direction. But other than that, it's a very different kind of movie from him. So, and it's a remake of a 1960s movie. Yeah. And, I don't know, it's a very interesting movie. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, we're done with the little shelf. Let's go on to the big shelf. Oh. I'm just gonna pick out a few at a time here. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Excuse me if I'm showing you my posterior here. That's okay. Oh my god. What do we have here? Oh. Okay. Whew. Capote. What's it called? Bennett Miller, like his breakthrough movie. Haven't actually seen it. Was part of my friend's DVD collection. I've heard it's supposed to be really, really good, but haven't had the time to watch it yet. Captain America, the First Avenger, one of very few Marvel movies or MCU movies that I actually like. Yeah. Carnage, Roman Polanski doing comedy. This is really, really, really interesting. You have Jodie Foster, Kate Winslet, Christoph Waltz, and John C. Reilly all stuck in an apartment. Their kids got into a fight at school, and they're trying to settle the dental bill because one of the kids got a teeth, knocked out. And it just devolves from there. It starts out very polite, but then it becomes complete carnage towards the end, and it's really amazing. One of my favorite movies of all time. Carrie. Oh yeah. Remember when I said the 1408 was like the third best Stephen King adaptation? I was wrong. The best one is Shining. After that, you have Carrie. Third one is The Mist, and the fourth one is 1408. Sorry. Casablanca. Another given in any cinephiles collection. This is a really big one, a really nice edition. It has a lot of stuff in it. It's one of those, photo book. I think it's like 3 discs. Yeah. Yeah, 2 feature-length documentaries. It is, like it says up here, Ultimate Collector Edition. However, the movie, I'm sorry to say, it's just good. It's good. I can see why it's a classic, though. Oh my god, Casa de Mi Padre, a very strange experiment by Will Ferrell and what's he called? Adam Smith. Nope. What's his name? Adam McKay. You know, the director of Step Brothers and Anchorman and Talladega Nights. They actually wanted to make like a telenovela movie, completely shot in Spanish. Will Ferrell speaks Spanish. Will Ferrell shows us his ass in this movie. It's a really strange movie. The concept is more fun than the actual movie, unfortunately. What do we have here? Oh, Casino! The lackluster pseudo sequel to Goodfellas. It's still good, but it's not as good as Goodfellas. And we have another Dario Argento Giallo movie, Cat O' Nine Tails. Bird with a Crystal Plumage was the first one that got him recognized, but this one was his like breakout movie, and I probably prefer this one over Bird with a Crystal Plumage. What have we done? Cell, probably one of the worst Stephen King adaptations. I really like the book. It was one of the first, one of the first Stephen King books I read back in like 2011. So I was really happy when I heard they were going to make a movie. It got delayed a bunch of years, and then it finally arrived, and I bought it and watched it and absolutely hated it. It is terrible. Absolutely terrible. And then Changeling, one of, what's he called? Oh my god, are you kidding me? Clint Eastwood, one of his lesser movies, I suppose. This was back when he made 2 movies a year. You know, like Flags of Our Fathers, Letters from Iwo Jima, and then he made Changeling and Gran Torino. And just like with Flags of Our Fathers and Letters from Iwo Jima, where Iwo Jima was the one that people really, really, really loved, and Flags of Our Fathers got kind of, pushed aside. Gran Torino was the one that people really, really loved, and this got kind of pushed aside. But it has actually a very good performance by Angelina Jolie. It's a very, very, very touching story about a mother's love for her child in the 1920s California, and the corruption of the legal system back then. More movies! Oh my god. Hold on. Oh no. This is not good. I can't. Ah! Damn it. I'll just do this. Oh god. What is going on here? Oh, damn it. Oh my god. This is a clusterfuck. Complete clusterfuck. Sorry. Oh, more movies. Chappie. Not sure why I bought it. I didn't like it the first time I watched it, and I didn't like it the second time I bought it and watched it, so. Sharlto Copley is good. He's great as Chappie, but that's about it. Cheech and Chong, Up in Smoke. Another childhood classic that does not stand the test of time. This is not funny anymore. It's not like it's offensive or anything. It's just the jokes kind of fall flat. Children of Men, one of the greatest sci-fi movies ever made. It has some amazing like post-apocalyptic environments and this really really sad story about a world where every woman is infertile, and the youngest person in the world is like 28 years old or something. It's the human race is literally dying, and I don't know if you like not post-apocalyptic, well, sort of. It's dystopian. If you like dystopian sci-fi, you're going to love this. If you love good movies, you're going to love this. Child's Play, another one of those, called The Evil Doll in Sweden. Chucky's 20th birthday edition. This was much more terrifying and entertaining when you were a kid. Not as good anymore. Chinatown, Roman Polanski's best movie. Hands down. Christine, terrifying portray of clinical depression, and Rebecca Hall's greatest performance of all time. This came out this year in Sweden, so it's definitely going on my top 10 list for 2017. Definitely. What do we have then? Chronicle, Max Landis' breakthrough movie. This is probably one of the best superhero movies ever made. Superhero origin stories. Unfortunately, Max Landis hasn't been able to top this yet, but you know, I believe he will someday. Oh, Pitch Black. Actually, this is the Chronicles of Riddick. Pitch Black. Yeah, they try to cash in on that success. No, but Pitch Black, kind of a fun alien ripoff that introduced us to the Richard B. Riddick character. Which then, of course, appeared in the actual Chronicles of Riddick. Back in 2004, this is one of my favorite action movies. It really doesn't hold up anymore, but it still has a special place in my heart. And then, of course, they did the Back to Basics threequel to that one, just called Riddick. Not as good as the first one, but the concept holds up better than the second one. So if you like Pitch Black, you're probably gonna enjoy this. It's okay. Okay, now I gotta actually do this right. Oh my god. Oh god, no. No, stop. Oh god. What do we have here? Cinderella Man. And another one of those movies I bought for my friend, which I haven't even watched yet, so I don't know. This was after this that Russell Crowe got kind of infamous for beating up people, which makes sense because he's playing a boxer. But yeah, I don't actually know if this movie's good. I've heard it's supposed to be kind of good. I don't know. Now we have City of the Living Dead, a Lucio Fulci, right? Yeah, Lucio Fulci zombie classic. This is like one of the weirder zombie movies made because they're not really zombies. You don't really see like zombies eating people. They're like telepathic and make people puke up their own guts. It's really strange, but it's great gore if you like splatter or gore. Clash of the Titans, the remake. For some reason, I really enjoy this one. I like all the physical sets. I like the kind of rough and tough action. Liam Neeson plays a great Zeus. It's kind of disposable, but it's fun. It's fun. I spent way too much money to find the 3D version of this, though. This cost me like $25. Not worth it. Cleopatra! 4 hours long. It comes, this is a DVD, so it actually comes on 3 discs. Well, 2 of them are the actual movie. So after 2 hours, or an hour and 58, no, 2 hours and 2 minutes, you have to take this disc out and insert this and watch the last hour and 58. I've never gotten past this. I've seen this disc. I've never watched this disc. I can see why this was a critical and commercial failure when it came out. Because it is boring. Great sets. Great costumes. Pretty good performances, but the movie is so boring. So boring. Unfortunately. Still considered a classic, though, because of the craftsmanship. But that's about it. Oh my god. And we have Clerks. No, we don't. We have Clerks. This is the 15th anniversary edition. I think there's like a 5th, 10th, and now 15th edition. There's probably going to come a 20th or 25th soon. But, yeah, this is back when Kevin Spacey... No, not Kevin Spacey. Kevin Smith was still making good movies. Which kind of ended with Clerks 2. Which, to me, is the better of the two. But I know a lot of people would argue that this is his best movie. And definitely the best of these two. Either way, after Clerks 2, he has really not made a really good movie. Red State is pretty good. I kind of enjoy Tusk, but Yoga Hosers is absolutely terrible. And then you have, of course, Cop Out. You have the what's it called? I don't even. Second remake of Porno. That's pretty good though. That's pretty good. Oh, and then we have Cliffhanger, another Stallone action movie. This one's actually pretty good. It's a good action thriller, well made, entertaining, tense. Um, I mean, if you like action, you can't go wrong with this one. It's really entertaining. It's one of those movies I probably watched it like 10 or 15 times, and it's just a really well made action thriller. And then we have one of my all-time favorite movies, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Probably my third favorite Spielberg movie of all time. It's the movie that made me, interested in aliens. Aliens, absolutely breathtaking visuals, and everything is like all of it is like physical effects. There's no computer animations. This one contains 3 different cuts of the movie. It has the original, it has the extended, which Spielberg was not a fan of, and then the director's cut, where he cut together the best parts of the theatrical and the extended. And that version is really, really good. Overall, just an amazing movie. Then we have Cloverfield in this cool tin box. I really enjoy this. This is probably one of the better found footage movies made that came out, after Blair Witch. Interesting concept for a monster movie to make it found footage. It's just fun. It's good. It's well made. T.J. Miller is actually good in this one. He should stick to making movies instead of stand-up. Sorry. Oh God. Oh, what do we have next? Oh yeah. Here we go. Now we're gonna talk movies. Oh my God. Oh my God. Here we go. Let's just do this. Let's grab all these. Ugh. Okay. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. No, this is one of those kids movies that is actually entertaining for kids and adults. I was, of course, introduced to Lord and Miller with 21 Jump Street, but when I heard that, they were the guys that made Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, I bought it, and it's really good. It's really funny, innovative, heartwarming, family-friendly fun. It's kind of like what YouTube wants to be, but, good. Now we have Cobra, greatest action movie ever made. I don't care who you are. I don't care what kind of movies you like. I don't care if you don't even like movies. You need to watch this. This is the greatest action movie ever made. I'm not even joking when I say this is one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. It is the epitome of cheesy 80s action. This is the Blu-ray that I found. It actually has commentary by the director, George P. fucking Cosmatos, the guy that made First Blood Part 2. And I actually had this. The first time I watched this was when me, my sister, and my parents, we went away for like a 4-day weekend to a region of Sweden called Dalarna. Very, very picturesque, very old-timey part of Sweden. We went there for my parents' anniversary for some reason. They brought their kids along, which, let's not talk about that anymore. But, they wanted to make a family vacation out of it. And this is such a great story. We had a room at a hotel, a really nice hotel. It was almost like no, not a bed and breakfast. It was an actual hotel. And, we ate some good meals. We did some sightseeing around, the old parts of Sweden. And then, like, the first or second night, we spent 3 nights and 4 days or something like that. The first or second night, when everybody went to bed, I had read in the newspaper because in the back you have like the TV schedules in Swedish newspapers, that they were going to show a movie called Cobra on Channel 5. And I didn't know what it was about. The only thing I know was that Sylvester Stallone was in it, and that I liked the old Cobra television series, the German like highway police series called Cobra Squad or something, back in the late 90s. And I thought maybe it's that. No, it was an action masterpiece. This is mandatory viewing for everyone in this world. I saw that movie. I I had to have the sound down so low because we were all sleeping in the same room. It was a 4-bedroom or four. What do you say? There were 4 beds in the room. So I couldn't really listen to it, but I was just stunned throughout the entire thing, completely stunned. I quickly bought it later on DVD and just watched it over and over and over, and then actually found this Blu-ray, and it has a making of featurette. It has commentary. It is the greatest movie. It is the greatest action movie ever made. Watch it, for Christ's sake, watch it. Cobra Verde, another Klaus Kinski Werner Herzog collaboration. This one is not as good as Aguirre, but it's still a very good movie. Then we have this kind of cheap-ass Coen Brothers box. Once again, from my friend's DVD collection. It has some good movies. There's Fargo, Miller's Crossing, and Raising Arizona. However, I do own a better edition of Fargo. This is just a 1-disc. But, I don't have the other 2 movies, so I removed my Fargo. I put it in a box over there. And I have this in my on my shelf. Collateral, one of Tom Cruise's greatest performances. This was the movie that where I discovered Michael Mann as a director, and I have not looked back ever since. Commando, another one very high up on the list of the greatest action movies ever made. This is pure schlock. Even back in the 80s, they kind of made fun of 80s action movies with this one. This is just, it came out, in the height of 80s action schlock, where the Rocky movies, the Rambo movies, where the Cobra, Terminator, you had Conan, and then they made Commando. It was like they knew that people would laugh at the 80s action movies now in the 2010s. So they just made this, back then, so the audience could appreciate it now. It's really amazing. Amazing? It's really, really, really amazing. One of my favorite Schwarzenegger movies of all time. Then we have first the new Conan, the one with Jason Momoa. Pretty terrible. It has a few good scenes, but overall, it's really a bad movie. You should just watch the original, man. Conan the Barbarian. Not even kidding. One of my favorite movies of all time. I actually made a video about this movie back when my channel was in Swedish, where I talked about why this movie is actually legitimately good and not just action schlock. How it's this like love letter to fascism almost, but in a good way. I might make that video again though in English sometime. Leave a like in the comments if you want me to do that. Let me tell you why A Love Letter to Fascism can actually be a good movie. And then we have the lackluster sequel. Still fun, but more just more of a fun fantasy adventure. Then we have The Congress. Really amazing concept, but not as well executed as it could have been. Really hard to explain what it's about, dude. You should watch it though. It is really interesting, but you might not like it as much as you think you are gonna like it, if that makes any sense. Then we have The Conjuring, James Wan's love letter to old school horror cinema. Really like the first one. I think it's a really good horror movie. Not like a classic or anything. Maybe in the future, who knows? And then we have the sequel. In some aspects, this is better, but I think overall I enjoy the first one more. And then we have Contraband. I bought this once again because Ben Foster is there. Ben Foster. This movie ever is from 2012, I think. 2011. This was a period when he had like given up on playing, these crazy characters, where he stopped like doing character acting and just wanted to break through into mainstream cinema with movies like this and oh, what's it called? Oh, whatever. So the movie's pretty good, but Ben Foster is not at the top of his game in this one, unfortunately. After that, we have Constantine. It's a pretty entertaining sci-fi fantasy thriller. Say what you will about it, I enjoy it. The Conversation. After Apocalypse Now and The Godfather, this is probably my favorite Francis Ford Coppola movie. This is like paranoia personified. Cooties, really interesting take on the zombie genre, where only kids can be infected, and it's about all these teachers and groundskeeper at a school trying to survive a kids-only zombie apocalypse. Written by Lee Whannell, the writer of the original Saw movie. He also has a small part in the movie. It's really funny. It's produced by, or I guess it's released by Elijah Wood's genre production company called what's it called? Spectrevision. It's kind of hit or miss, but it's a pretty fun movie. Cop Car, kind of a low-key release made by John Watts, who later, because of this movie, got to make the new Spider-Man movie. I saw a YouTube featurette for this back before it was released, and I was like, hey, I really love Kevin Bacon. I should watch this movie about a cop car. It's two kids who steal a corrupt cop's car, and he has to try to get it back because there is incriminating evidence in the trunk of it. Really, really good movie. Copland. When Sylvester Stallone tried to be a bona fide actor, he does a really good job in this one. This is the director's cut, which is usually I kind of prefer theatrical cuts, but this one is actually really, really good. The Cottage, kind of a strange, quirky, kind of hillbilly horror movie from the Great Britain. Really interesting, and it has Andy Serkis not playing a CGI monkey for once. Deliciously dark laughs. That's what this movie is about. Horribly funny, hilariously gory. These actually describe the movie very good. It is a lot of fun, even if it is kind of stupid at points. And then we have Aliens and Cowboys. Now, when I first heard about this, I thought it was stupid. However, after I rediscovered Half in the Bag about 3 years ago, I was rewatching all of their episodes, and they were like, oh, this is actually a really funny, action-adventure movie. So I bought this, and you know what? Mike and Jay, you fucked me. This movie is terrible. Absolutely terrible. God, it's terrible. It's not fun. It's not exciting. It's just formulaic as fuck. Sorry. One second. This is live, people. This is you're gonna have to expect this. Okay. Now, this stream could go in two directions. First, you could just accept that I disappeared there for a few minutes, and I could lie to you, and keep the terrible truth from you, or I could be honest with my fans and screw this, and tell you what actually happened. Now, do you want me to lie, or do you want me to tell you the truth? Let's do this. The lie is, oh my god, sorry. The lie is that I got a work-related phone call. The truth is, I got a call. It was nature that called. Anyway, continuing with the movies. Crank. You see that? It's signed. Sorry, I lost my. Sorry. It's signed by Ricky fucking Verona. You know the bad guy? What's his name? Sorry. Oh yeah, Jose Pablo Cantillo. You probably know him from The Walking Dead. He actually signed this, and if you've seen Crank, you'll appreciate this. You see what that says? It says, fuck you. Like in the movie, huh? And then he wrote Verona as well. Amazing. Once again, a bunch of people were there getting their Walking Dead boxes signed, but I walked up at this, and once again, he had a little conversation with me, and I actually asked him, could you write fuck you on the disc? And he did. A lot of fun. So, pro tip, if you're going to go to one of these, cons, and you want to get like a movie signed by one of your favorite actors, don't bring the expected movie. Don't bring The Walking Dead to Jose Pablo Cantillo. Don't bring Aliens to Lance Henriksen. Bring something that they'll actually enjoy, Because then you get a nice little story out of it. And I got to hear him shit all over Crank 2. Because he wasn't in it. He said, oh, the second one wasn't as good, though. And I was like, what do you mean? Well, I wasn't in it. Oh, makes sense. Second one is good, though. I really enjoy the second one. The first one is better because, it's the same concept. This is basically just a rehash, but still good. Crash. Terrible movie. Only reason I own it is because my friend had it in his collection. I've seen it once, hate it. I actually hated it back in 2005, even before I fully understood why I hated it. Crazy Heart. Not a very good movie. Amazing performance by Jeff Bridges. Creed. The best Rocky movie where Rocky doesn't box. Probably like my third or second favorite Rocky movie, actually. The Crow, every edgelord's favorite movie, and it's legitimately really good. This one, Crystal Fairy and the Magical Cactus. I don't really know. There were two brothers, I think. No, it's Sebastian Silva. This Mexican director, I think, that, he kind of struck up a friendship with Michael Cera, and they made like two movies back to back. This one was this strange, drug-infused movie about a bunch of teenagers trying to find, a specific cactus so they could boil their own peyote. Or make their own peyote. Crystal Fairy is actually one of the teenage, like one of the people they pick up on the road. But then they also made Magic together, which is this strange horror thriller movie. Dagon, based on an H.P. Lovecraft horror short. kind of a low budget um, Spanish production of an American story. So instead of the city, instead of the city of Innsmouth, they go to the city of Imboca. You get it? Innsmouth, in mouth, Imboca, Imboca, a bunch of those things. But essentially, this is Dagon. If you've read Dagon, you're gonna appreciate this. It's a pretty good adaptation of that short story. Dances with Wolves, this is the Norwegian edition that I have, called Danser med Ulver. Yeah, one of the most epic movies ever made. I don't care what people say. This is one of my favorite movies of all time, and Kevin Costner will forever be forgiven for anything he does because of this movie. Then, remember when I said I love disaster movies? Well, that's why I have Dante's Peak. It's about a volcano that explodes, and James Bond has to save Sarah Connor from the Terminator volcano. What else can you say? What do we have then? Oh, yeah, Daredevil. This is interesting. It's directed by Mark Steven Johnson. This was his breakthrough movie. If you watch the behind the scenes stuff, you can see that Mark Steven Johnson is a very passionate movie maker. He really loves making movies, and he loves, it doesn't matter what kind of movie he gets to make, as long as he gets to make a movie. This paper is breaking up. Damn. So he's very passionate about making movies, and it shows. Even though this movie is pretty bad, it really shows that he loves making movies, and I kind of appreciate it for that. However, he did go on to make the first, what is it called? The first Nicolas Cage skull motorcycle guy, Ghost Rider, which once again, it shows that he really likes movies, but it's pretty bad as well. Yeah, I've heard that the director's cut of this is actually really good, like for real good, but I never felt like spending money on another version of Daredevil, so I'll stick with this for now. Okay, moving on. Jesus Christ. What do we have? What do we have? Well, we have... Let's do a big chunk here. Dark Blue. This came out around the same time as American History X. Kind of about the same thing, but more focused on cops instead of civilians. It's it takes place during the LA riots in '93. I remember. I was way too young, way too Swedish to remember the LA riots. But this movie is actually pretty good. Once again, about corrupt cops in Los Angeles. Great central performance by Kurt Russell. Ving Rhames is actually pretty good in it, believe it or not. Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. It's a pretty good cop thriller. The Dark Knight. What else can I say? Greatest comic book movie ever made. Probably the best superhero. It's the best superhero movie ever made. It's the best Batman movie ever made. One of the greatest on-screen performances of all time. It is just one of the best movies ever made. Definitely in my top 10. That's enough said. Now I do have The Dark Knight Rises, but it's over in my collector's cabinet. I actually have a kind of big box. It doesn't really fit in my shelves. Dark Star, the proto-alien, made by John Carpenter. It's like 50. No, it's actually an hour and 23 minutes. Sorry. But this is the movie that John what's he called? Dan O'Bannon. Sorry, Dan O'Bannon wrote before Alien, And it was because of this that he actually, wrote a treatment for Alien, which became, well, Alien. So that's why I own this. It suffers from the same problems as almost every Carpenter movie, though. It's so slow. Interesting concept. Definitely a good movie, but it's very, very slow. Das Boot. It's a submarine. It's a German submarine movie. That's 3.5 hours long. Surprisingly good, though. Dawn of the Dead, the Zack Snyder version. I'll always love the original, of course. I actually saw that first. I saw the original Dawn of the Dead when I was like 12. I don't know if that is that good or not. Were my parents irresponsible for letting me watch movies like that when I was 12? I don't know. Oh my god, I haven't been watching the chat. Once again, I haven't been watching the chat. I'm really sorry. I'm really bad at checking the chat. So if you're still watching, Martin, of course, Cat O' Nine Tails, it's really good, actually. It's really good. You'll enjoy it. You like Jello. Oh my god, The Day After Tomorrow with a sticker left on it. This is the 2-disc edition. Yes, I actually hunted this edition down because this is probably my favorite disaster movie of all time. This is the only movie I've watched twice in the same day, in the same sitting, back to back. I watched it once. When the credits rolled, I pressed menu, and I started the movie over again. I watched this twice, back to back. Yeah, you can say what you will about this. I love it. The Day the Earth Stood Still, considered a sci-fi classic. I don't get it. It's boring. The middle part is just like a family drama. It's not interesting. The central story is interesting about the big robot and Klaatu, or whatever he's called. Yeah, Klaatu, the Martian, or whatever he is, the alien. It's going to tell us that we have to stop our wars and all that because otherwise this robot is going to destroy us. However, the movie's really boring. It starts out very good, then becomes this family relationship drama movie, and then it ends on a pretty downer note, which is good, but the middle 40 minutes is terrible. Daylight. It's a disaster movie with Stallone in it. This is basically Die Hard in a tunnel, and the terrorists are, fire and water. So, but it's good. Hold your breath. Oh my god. Oh god. Dazed and Confused. Another Linklater movie that did not take 12 years to make. Interesting take on the, it's kind of a throwback movie. It's definitely supposed to reflect on his high school years. So it's very personal in that way. Since I was a high schooler in the mid 2000s, it kind of passed over my head, but I do get it though, and it is a well-made movie. So I don't know. A lot of weed smoking in it as well, which we like. Then we have Deadfall. Now, this movie is pretty bad actually. However, you see there? It said Nicolas Cage. You see Nicolas Cage over there, of course, gives one of his greatest performances of all time in this movie. He's only in like half of the movie. Spoilers, yeah, he gets killed off after half the movie. But he completely steals every scene he is in. He overacts even more than in Vampire's Kiss. This is absolutely amazing. And then we have the first Dead Space movie. Dead Space is one of the few extended universe franchises that I actually like. I love the games. I love the books. The comics are pretty good, and the movies they're okay. But I actually, you all know that I'm like universally against extended franchise or extended universes. But the Dead Space extended universes or universe, I actually enjoy. So call me a hypocrite if you will. The second Dead Space movie, though, it's kind of like an anthology movie. It's weird, and it's not as well made as Downfall, which is just a straight anime. What do we have then? Death Race. Yes, the remake of Death Race. One thing to note about this though is that all of the car stunts, okay, 90% of the car stunts are physical, which is really enjoyable. So even if the movie is kind of crappy, there is some really good action scenes in it. And of course, it's made by Paul W.S. Anderson, so I love it. Death Sentence. Yeah, we're all talking about the new Death Wish remake. This is actually the first Death Wish remake, because this is based on the book called Death Sentence that Death Wish is actually based on. So it's the same story as Death Wish, basically. It's made by James Wan when he tried to make an action movie or a thriller movie instead of horror. And I kind of like it. I see why people don't. It's kind of messy. It's a little bit one note. It's very downer towards the end, but I like it. And you know, Kevin Bacon is always great. Kevin Bacon is always great. He's one of those actors that even if the movie sucks, he kind of elevates it at least a little bit. Death Warrant. Probably one of the worst Van Damme movies, unfortunately. I actually haven't finished it. It's that bad. What can I say? Sometimes you buy a dud. Oh my god. Then we have Debug. I found this on like a forum somewhere on the internet where people were calling it like, oh, the System Shock movie, because it's basically the same story as System Shock. However, this is really a really cheap movie with shows, and cheap sci-fi, unless you're like doing it like ironically, does not work. Sci-fi, you know, you need production value in sci-fi, and this one doesn't have it. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. What do we have then? Oh, here we have like the only trauma movie I actually like. It's Decapitated. Yes, the movie that makes fun of teenage slashers. But I did it back in 96, 98. This is just, I don't think I can explain it in this short a time. If you get a chance to watch this, definitely do so. Try to make like a drinking game out of it, or at least watch it with a bunch of friends, because you are gonna have a good time. Fun fact, it is actually filmed with the same 16mm camera as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Or at least the director says so. Who knows? Who knows? Then we have Deepwater Horizon. Surprisingly good like survival drama. Directed by Peter Berg and of course starring Mark Wahlberg. Based on a Deepwater Horizon oil spill back in 2010. Yeah, 2010. It's part of Peter Berg's trilogy. Not trilogy, Truology, which starts with Lone Survivor, you know, the war movie with Mark Wahlberg, which spoils the ending with its title. It's called Lone Survivor. Guess how many survives in the movie? But then, like a few years later, 2 years later, he made this Deepwater Horizon, and it was, you know, directed by Peter Berg. It was based on a real story, and it starred Mark Wahlberg. And I remember tweeting about it saying, is this like the second part in a Peter Berg true story trilogy? And I remember saying, let's see if the next Peter Berg movie is a Mark Wahlberg movie based on a true story. And maybe we'll actually get a Peter Berg Truology. And what do you know? The same year as this, technically the next year. This is in 2016, and in Sweden we got the next one in 2017. You know, he made what's it called? Patriots Day, about the Boston bombings, the Boston Marathon bombings. So yeah, this is part 2 of the Peter Berg trilogy, and it's pretty good. Lone Survivor is better though, I think. And then we have The Deer Hunter, one of the greatest movies ever made. This scene is one of the most tense scenes in a movie ever made. Michael Cimino just shoots it out of the park with this one. He has never made a movie quite like this again. He tried with Heaven's Gate, didn't really work. Oh my god, I'm starting to get tired here. Oh my god. Come on, come on, don't give up. Don't give up. Don't be discouraged. Oh. Come on. Ah. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, oh my god. Ooh. This shelf, it's not leaning against the wall or anything. This is a wall I built, so it's kind of flimsy. Very dangerous. Don't try this at home. Put your shelves against walls. Huh? Okay. Let's do this. Yeah, come on. There we go. Deliverance. Pretty good edition of this movie, which is, you know, You Gotta Purr the Mouth. It's that movie. Yeah. It's the Dueling Banjos movie. It's it's a really good movie, which kind of defies genre. It's not quite thriller, not quite horror, not quite action. It's kind of a mutation of all of that, with some really good performances by Jon Voight and what's he called? Ronny Cox. I really like Ronny Cox in this, and of course Burt Reynolds and Ned Beatty. But definitely Jon Voight and Ronny Cox are the standouts in this one. And then we have Demolition Man. No action collection is complete without Demolition Man. Oh. This is one of these movies I can watch over and over and over and over again. It is a really good movie to fall asleep to, believe it or not. But overall, it's kind of a fun, just overall entertaining action movie. And it's an interesting look at a very strange version of the future. More action! The Last Action Hero. Come on! Don't lie, you like this movie. I know it. The Departed. Fun story about this one. I somehow got a hold of tickets to a sneak preview of this 8 months before it was released in Sweden. So weird. I got it through the Stockholm Film Festival somehow. So I guess that's why I own it. I probably would have bought it anyways, because it's a great movie, but, you know, I would say, though, that you should watch the original as well. It's a South Korean movie called Infernal Affairs, directed by... I can't remember the name, sorry. This is a very, very good version of that, but I do prefer this version. But the original is good too, and you know we should appreciate the original for what it did. Not the movie that Scorsese should win a director Oscar for, though. Directorial Oscar for. He has made much better movies than this, but I guess, you know, at least he got an Oscar eventually. Desert Heat. This movie destroyed my second PlayStation 3. I put this in after having bought it, watch about 10 minutes of it, and then I get the yellow light of death on my PlayStation and it dies. After a lot of, you know, fixing and repairing it, putting it up for repair, at an actual repair shop or whatever you would call it. I get the PlayStation back. I get the movie back. I have never watched this again. I've only watched the first 10 minutes because I'm not risking putting this into another PS3 or PS4 or even DVD player. I mean, obviously the PlayStation overheated, but I'm not going to risk it. I'm not going to risk it. This movie is cursed. Dracula, Dead and Loving It? Is that what they call it? Yeah, Dead and Loving It. Another childhood favorite, and I still laugh every time I watch this movie. Leslie Nielsen, rest in peace, dude. You're my favorite Dracula. Devil, supposed to be the first movie in the Night Chronicles franchise. The franchise where M. Night Shyamalan produces future horror master directors' first movies. So this is actually made by John Eric Dowdle, but he has a brother. Yeah, Drew and John Eric Dowdle, the Dowdle brothers. They'd actually made a movie before this called The Poughkeepsie Tapes, which is one of the most disturbing horror movies ever made, and that's why I bought this, because I'd seen that before. I really like this concept. It's the people being stuck in an elevator and being killed off one by one. It's silly, but it works. I think it works. Die Hard. I don't have to explain that one, right? No, thank you. Therefore, I'm not going to explain this one, or this one, or even this one. Well, it says Die Hard 4.0. That's what it's called in Europe. But, it's actually, it's called Live Free or Die Hard, but, Then there's this one, though. This is not as bad as people say, but it is definitely the worst Die Hard movie, and overall a pretty terrible action movie. But I remember Half in the Bag just calling this like one of the worst movies ever made, and that's not fair. I will say that it is, really bad, but one of the worst movies ever made? No. Dinner Rush. Low-key, one of the best movies ever made. It's just a day in the life of a restaurateur and his chefs. With a great ensemble cast. I don't want to say anything else. No, I'm not gonna say anything else. If you like well-written comedy drama with a very high pace, a very high pulse, because it takes place in a kitchen, a restaurant kitchen, you should watch this. Yeah, you should watch this. Whatever then. District 9. Neil Blomkamp's only really good movie. And this one is really good. He, of course, followed that up with Elysium and Chappie. But hey, you can't strike gold every time, I suppose. Oh. And here comes another one of those movies I'm going to have to defend. Disturbia. Based on the Hitchcock movie Rear Window, right? I really like this one. Partly because it's Shia LaBeouf, and partly because it's a well-made thriller. What do you want me to say? What do we have here? Oh! Django Unchained. Tarantino's second best movie after Jackie Brown. Yeah, I said it. I said it. Jackie fucking Brown, people. George of the Jungle, or Jungle George, as it's called in Sweden. Childhood favorite. Still enjoy it from time to time. Oh my god. Bedazzled? Is it called Bedazzled? Yeah. I kind of love Brendan Fraser. That's the only reason why I have this. Yeah, it's even a special edition. Harold Ramis, people. Fuck Ghostbusters. I mean, he didn't do that. He didn't make that one, but you know what I mean. Oh my god, dodgeball. Some would argue that basketball kind of started this weird sports movie trend that gave us Blades of Glory and Balls of Fury and stuff. But I would say that dodgeball kind of started that trend. Really funny. Really funny. Actually kind of well acted. It's a comedy. You laugh more than 6 times, which makes it a good comedy. Oh, me? Tired? No, not at all. Dogma. I have this really nice special collector's edition. Problem is, I'm not really a super big Dogma fan. It's good, but that's about it. I bought this in New York when I was there 10 years ago. It's a cool box, you know. But I'm not a super fan of the movie, though. Haven't watched it in a long time, though, so I might like it more now when I'm a bit more mature. Who knows? I'll probably give it a try sometime. But as it stands now, Clerks 2 is still my favorite Kevin Smith movie. What's this? Dog Soldier. Neil Marshall's big breakthrough. This is his first movie? I think so. Yeah, what can you say? This is a werewolf versus soldiers action horror movie. Great little micro budget action horror. You should definitely watch it if you like horror or if you like action. It is just well made, and because of its small budget, it's really creative at times. And of course, he went on to make The Descent, which is one of the fucking scariest movies ever. Oh my god. Well, you know what, people? Oh my god. No. I know I said that I was gonna do my entire movie collection, but I'm gonna be honest with you. First of all, my arms are tired. Believe it or not, my arms are tired. Yeah, I'm gonna start making excuses here. My arms are tired. It's 20 minutes past 11 p.m. here in Sweden, and I have to be up in about 7 hours to go to work. And I'm starting to lose my voice. So, yeah, we're not exactly halfway through, but we got a good chunk done in these 3 hours approximately. So you know what? I'm gonna pause here, and I'll continue. Not tomorrow. I have some work to do for another episode of Please Don't Make a Scene. But I'll be back Saturday or Sunday. I will be back Sunday with another episode of Please Don't Livestream, the movie news edition. But I might actually stream some more of this, my movie collection. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed these 3 hours of me talking about my stupid movie collection. And I hope you'll join me in the next episode, coming very shortly. But until then, have a good one. God damn.